best new thing in the world. You ready? So it turns out that the Turkish word for gas mask is gazmaskiski. And the reason that I know that is not because I speak Turkish, obviously, but because of the best new thing in the world today. As you know, there have been big protests going on in Turkey. Tens of thousands of demonstrators taken to the streets for almost a week now. It started as an effort to save a park in downtown Istanbul. It's now turned into a big, sustained anti-government maelstrom. It's fueled by outrage at how the authorities have reacted to the peaceful protesters with tear gas and violence. But it's also being fueled by long simmering grievances against the government there. Around the world, we have had access to a lot of dramatic images from those protests. But inside Turkey, the government has censored the coverage for domestic consumption. That said, TV game shows are one of the things that do still go on without any trouble, even in times of civil unrest, even under a censorious government. In Turkey, there is a TV game show that's called The Word Game. And it's kind of like Wheel of Fortune, or maybe closer to Password. Did you ever see Password? That was on for a zillion years, about a zillion years ago. I'm an old person. Anyway, in this Turkish version of Password, this show is called Word Game. The host gives the contestants a clue, and then based on the clue, they have to guess what the secret word is. On Monday night, the host of the Word Game in Turkey decided to use the game show to subvert the censorship in his country. He made the whole game show about the thing that nobody is allowed to talk about on TV. For example, one clue to the contestants was democracy breather. Democracy breather? I'm stumped, but the contestant was not stumped.
Gaz maskesi?
Gaz maskesi 1000 puan değerinde 7600 oluyor.
Gaz maskesi! Gas mask. Democracy breather, as the government has been tear gassing the protesters, right? How about this one? A person that concentrates all political power. That's the clue.
Diktatör. Diktatör dediler 800 puan değerindedir.
Dictator. The next clue was the social network site that has been described as a curse. Answer?
Twitter. Twitter 700 puan değerindedir.
Twitter. Do not beat yourself up if you missed that one. In America, Twitter is just Twitter. In Turkey, on the morning of that episode of The Word Game, the Turkish Prime Minister had called Twitter a menace to society. In a single one-hour episode of The Word Game in Turkey, the host brought up the anti-government protest that nobody's allowed to mention 70 different times. Among these 70 secret words he put into the game were police and violence and silence and resistance and censorship. According to the New York Times lead blog, which picked up on some of the translated coverage of this hero game show host, the last two clues were pretty direct messages to the government. The second to last clue was to voluntarily give up a position. The answer was resign. And the last clue was the act that makes a person bigger by asking to be forgiven for wrong actions. The answer, of course, to that was apologize. The host has not been back on TV for a live show since doing this on Monday night, so we do not know what his act of bravery will cost him. Whether or not the host, Ali Ihsan Varol, ever knew that bravery would be part of what was needed from him at his host as a game show host, he has showed that he has got what it takes. Best new thing in the world. Amid another night of all-night protests tonight in Istanbul, it is the best new thing in the world. That does it for us tonight. Now it's time for the last word with Lawrence O'Donnell. Have a great night.